Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unscripted. I'm Dawn Mitchell. This is a time for us to celebrate a lot of athletes and sports figures from Minnesota and beyond and give them a little more time to give them their due. And I'm so excited today because this is the perfect time to have my two guests joining me now. We have Cheryl Reeve, not only head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, but also director of basketball operations, and Carley Knox, director of business operations for the Lynx. You guys, thank you so much. It's a busy time right now, so thank you both for being here. How are you?
Absolutely, great.
Really, yeah, really good,
Yeah.
really good. We're getting ready to get started.
You already had, not only are you with the Lynx, but on your plate as well is the national team, and you already had the basically the tryouts or the training camp for them. So is it like your guys' life is in a blender on high with the lid off? It must be like it is,
There's
right?
at times it feels like that,
Yeah.
but we have to compartmentalize whatever we're doing. We go all in and do. And we were at the women's Final Four over in Cleveland, and Carley handling all the business aspects of what's going on, league meetings over there. A lot of excitement around what's happening from a business standpoint that Carley can get into. And then our side, on the basketball side, it was USA basketball training in the morning. Afternoon, it was Lynx business, talking to counterparts around the league with regard to the upcoming draft, which is in a week, and just league meetings on the basketball side of things.
Well, Carley, I wanted to ask you this too, because I've been following you on Twitter, and one of your passions is also like strengthening powerful women and getting the platform. And you're like, please watch, get the viewership up.
Yep.
How it has been for women's basketball. We all know here in Minnesota that it's off the charts, with the Lynx, but to see how it's really blown up, how does that make you feel?
It's unbelievable. Spent 20 years now in the WNBA, and just coming out of Cleveland and watching the momentum around women's athletics, not just basketball, but obviously the viewership around the NCAA tournament, to see what's going on in the NWSL right now with expansion teams and the crowds that they're pulling in. Women's national soccer team just pulled in over 50,000 in Atlanta for their game, to see what's happening with professional women's hockey. It's like what we've been fighting for all these decades, and it's why I do what I do, and to see some of it finally come to fruition and people finally getting it and getting exposed to these incredible products and these amazing role models that are in women's professional athletics, like it's a dream come true.
Cheryl, you and I in the past have talked about this too many times, whether it was at an availability or if it's just in conversation, that yes, it's always been there. You need the platform. You need the eyeballs. If you put it on TV, people will watch. Satisfying, right?
Yeah, tremendously satisfying. It's not a surprise to us that we've been saying this, that, and I was not a proponent of ESPN for many years, and I would say that. And it's now time to give them some credit for where we are, because I think the move a few years back when ESPN went from the awful whip-around coverage that was the NCAA women's tournament to putting every game on one of their platforms, and at a good time. So you knew when it was on, where you could find it, and we get the culmination of all those years of doing that in the viewership that peaked at 24 million.
Yes.
And so that's, from being in this, that those are crazy good numbers. And I just think it was, it's the, I think just a few years back as we were negotiating our WNBA CBA in 2020, it was also around the time that the women's national team for soccer was in their equal pay fight. And so we have been on this wave of enthusiasm and things starting to change. And then I just think, that we've hit that watershed moment, and which is why all of us are so excited. I'm happy that we're still doing this, to be able to live some of it, not just look back and go, hey, I was a part of that.
Yeah.
No, we're actually get to live it now and feel that excitement.
And I also feel like it's kind of come a long way too when people are fighting about that play, like that how can a referee determine it, and people are arguing both sides, and these are voracious men that are hopping on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it to have this argument. I'm like, this is it. This is what we wanted, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and we're so excited for Caitlin Clark to come into the WNBA, you know, obviously everybody's been talking about her, but the impact that she's already had on the WNBA prior to even getting here. And it's not just with Indiana, who we believe will draft her at the #1 draft pick, but we also have had an impact here in Minnesota, but across the entire WNBA, the impact has been palpable. And coming out of our president meetings on Friday, everybody was talking about the impact. Like, the revenue numbers are off the chart for every team in the WNBA right now, so it's pretty incredible to see.
I have mixed emotions, Dawn, about Caitlin Clark coming to the league.
Do you?
I'm really happy for the business side. But we have to guard her. We've got to figure this out.
Well, also you have the other hat too, because there's a potential she could play for you, right, for the national team, isn't it?
Yeah, you know,
open?
that's well above my pay grade, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, she's incredible talent and
love her, hate her. Love her, hate her.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like, come on, Caitlin. Gosh darn it, we got to guard her. Come on, Caitlin. We got to guard her.
We will say that her favorite team ever in the WNBA was the Minnesota
That's pretty
Lynx,
cool.
and she grew up on Maya Moore, Lindsay Whalen, Rebecca Brunson, Sylvia Fowles. I mean, you know, she was moved by what we did in building our dynasty, and so maybe one day down the road.
That was so cool when they showed a picture of her with Maya Moore, and then when she won or was coming towards the NCAA tournament, and then Maya showed up. You know, that's kind of a full circle moment.
It's why we do what we do.
That way?
Yeah, it's why we do what we do, helping to raise the next generation.
And I was going to say, Dawn Staley, you know very well.
Yeah.
I love seeing Crying Dawn, a different side of her we haven't seen, but also when she gave the shout out to Caitlin, it kind of encompasses what women's basketball is about. Like you're saying, we're competitors, but we also really support each other, and I thought she put that on full display.
A stark contrast from the championship game last year, which gave us the momentum. But we can do it both ways, it looks like. So, but yeah, I think it was well deserved. I mean, Dawn recognizes, you know, that the talent that Caitlin is and what she's done for women's basketball. All of us can see that, and so pioneers that pre-Title IX to Title IX babies to current day athletes, we all recognize how important it is for the growth of the game for players like Caitlin. And so, you know, we were all happy to see her success.
Well, another reason I wanted to have you both here is you are both powerhouse, strong, smart women in sports. You're also married and you work together.
We do.
So how do you keep that going? How do you separate? Is there no separation? I mean, I consider you guys a Minnesota power couple.
Oh, thank
for
you.
sports.
I appreciate that. There's, and Carley can chime in, but we work for the same organization.
Yeah.
We work in the same building, but we don't work together, so to speak, on daily operations, et cetera. It's completely different. There's oftentimes I know that I'll be like, you didn't know that? I tried to, you know, you didn't tell me. No, you didn't tell me that. We kind of, so you would think that there'd be more conversations, but we just really kind of have our own thing. And you know, I think we do work well. It's great that when a coach or the president of basketball operations has a really good idea what's needed on the business side. I think there's an advantage there. And Carley will say, that's not an option for you to say, no, you're doing that. You know, that's really beneficial. Or like, and I'll say, like, I need to know if something's really important, you know, teach us, you know, what do you need from our players? And so I think that opportunity for the organization has been very, very good.
Is that few and far between where you have to do that?
No, I think that we work really well as a team, and I think the fact that we're able to have such a good idea of what's going on the basketball side and what's going on the business side, and we really complement each other that way. So I think we've been able to uplift the organization because of the closeness of those two sides and awareness of what's going on.
And when it comes to organization, you already have Lindsay Whalen, that is, of course, in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, also in Naismith. Now Simone Augustus. I think your success keeps shining through that way. That must be just kind of like the gift that keeps on giving for both of you, right?
Yeah, incredibly excited for Simone, another first ballot Hall of Famer, Naismith Hall of Famer, Women's Basketball Hall of Famer. You know what I think was really cool in these moments is that a lot of times, like, you think that players like them know how good they are and know the impact that they had, and how overwhelmed they are when they're told you're about to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. They don't see themselves that way, and that's also what makes them so good. You know, Lindsay Whalen, when I would have her with USA Basketball, and I pretty much knew she was a lock for the team. But she'd go out there, and I remember we were in Annapolis, Maryland. She had what she considered a bad practice, and she'd come over. She's like, "I'm getting cut. Like, I know I'm getting cut." And I had to kind of talk her off the ledge. I'm like, "Wait, you're okay, And I turned aside, and I laugh a little, and I look back and try to take her seriously, and I'm like, "You're okay." So she was always a player that didn't necessarily think that she was, performing to her expectations. And Simone the same way. Simone's such a great story. I think about our first meeting together, where I sort of challenged her. I give Simone a lot of credit. Teams tampered with Simone when Maya Moore was going to be coming to the Minnesota Lynx, and they said, "You better get out because it's going to be Maya's team." And Simone looked around. She said, "Why would I get out now? I spent 5 years here without, other great players. She recognized that she needed this greatness around her. And they were all like that. They all understood that they needed each other. And Simone was really special in that way. She let me challenge her. We had fun. Simone could make you laugh. Simone was really good for me because she brought levity to situations. Sometimes I could use it, where maybe I realized, okay, I was taking it a little too seriously,
like
and she would
your
snap me
jacket
back. Yeah. There was no levity in that situation.
And the business side, that just helps you, right? When you've got personalities like that and the success that comes with it, it's just easy.
I mean, more eyeballs, the better. But no, we're so proud of, obviously Taj, Maya, Moan, all just are going to be inducted into Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. So I was able to see them this weekend as well. And Women's Basketball Hall of Fame had a celebration breakfast. And just watching them together and still doing the high fives they used to do together as teammates, and the love they have for each other, and the culture that they built and we built has been so special to watch. And they continue to make us proud. And that's what's rooted in what we've built here and what we're so proud of.
And to see Maya now reemerge back into the basketball world, and that you both allowed her to sow her oats and then take the next step when it comes to social activism and to follow her heart, much, again, is one of those love-hate things. You wanted her to stay, but you also love her like a daughter and a person that had to do what she had to do. So to see her now come back around, how is that?
I mean, we're so incredibly proud of Maya, and really it's why we do what we do with regard to using sport as a vehicle of change to fight for all marginalized groups. And Maya took that and, lived it in terms of her criminal justice reform work that she was doing. And we were so happy to have her back last year for the All-25 team, and we're so elated to have her back this year and finally have her join the rest of her teammates and having her number lifted to the banners and the rafters this year. So it's, again, why we do what we do. We're trying to change the world, and it's bigger than basketball, and it's part of this larger movement that we're all bought into and share those values.
And it can happen, and I don't want to get into the drama of what happened, but it can't happen with the great ownership. You have Glenn that's staying. He's going to keep the team in Minnesota no matter what. Absolutely. To have the money, the backing, the love from an owner, that is a luxury that not all WNBA teams have, to be honest, right?
Yeah, Glenn and Becky have been amazing to the Minnesota Lynx, and I think more than anything, when I was hired in 2010, I felt like it was really important that we could reward Glenn to go from, maybe at a time when the Lynx first were brought to town, only one of 12 cities, by the way, in the entire country. It was because it was good for girls and women. He wanted to do the right thing, and we were more of a cause. And just desperately wanted to make this a great business. And so to see what we've done, to see the valuation of our franchise just exploding and going to continue to explode, just like men's sports do over the course of time. This is what happens. But for Glenn I remember the first day I showed up, for a game. I went to go take my spot on the bench, and there's Glenn 2 seats away, and I'm thinking somebody's going to usher him away at some point. And I thought, the guy's going to sit right here the whole game.
That's not pressure.
Get ready, Glenn.
And I thought, I've always believed in being myself, and thankfully he gets a kick out of it at times. And one of the most fun pictures that I have in my mind from that 2012 game that you mentioned, where I lost my jacket, that
she lost
when I turned to continue to throw whatever was on me, the jacket was gone, and I was moving for my mic, and I remember grabbing the mic, and I saw Glenn had this smile on his face, and then when I looked down the bench and I saw Chuck Barta getting ready to duck, and I thought, oh God, I'm scaring people. I better calm down. But Glenn, Glenn is just somebody I just have a great appreciation for, and the loyalty that he's shown, and he's been incredibly good to me and to our family, and letting me be myself. And like we have a great relationship, and he's my direct report. That's uncommon.
Yeah.
That he's making time. Pick the phone, I can call him right now, and kick around ideas for the roster, kick around what we're going to do for the draft, and that sort of thing, and he really enjoys it.
And the fact that you're going to be the head coach of the Olympic team, to have an owner that'll be like, what? You're going to have like another hat during the season. The support, first of all, kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I know you've been part of USA Basketball, but to be the head coach and to be the one everyone looks to, it's
a tremendous honor.
It is, and something you have earned. So
I appreciate
really
that.
want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. And so much of what I've been able to do is as a result of those great players that you talked about. We all experience success together, and we all have had a chance to go on and do other things because of that time together. And so I'm elated that I have a chance to lead the national team. It's an incredible honor. And when Glenn first heard the news, I think we were in contract negotiations, and his first reaction was, "Well, how much money am I getting back for those 2 weeks that you're going to be playing?"
For the businessman.
Yes. So does this mean, I'm kidding.
Do I get a discount?
But no, I know that organization's been incredibly supportive.
Yeah. And when you look at that roster that's on this team, it's like the dream team. It really is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You must
incredible.
be so excited too.
I am, and as we go through the selection process and the committee gets to make the final decisions, really hard decisions, and we have a great basketball team, and our mission is, individual talent is great, but how do we become the best team we can be? Yeah. And that's what we're focused on as we had that camp in Cleveland. All the other countries, they spend a lot of time together. They take off, the summer, and they don't play in the WNBA, so they can get their teams together. And so, teams with some chemistry and some talent, that's going to be hard for us. And so, we have to accelerate that process of, okay, what do I do for this team? What does this team need me to do? And you have to get a hold of it in a hurry. And we did that at the World Cup. I was really pleased with how we played. Loved the environment, loved the group that we had. And so hopefully we can carry that through to Paris.
When do you guys sleep?
Never.
Oh, we have a 9-year-old. Yeah.
Yes. Oliver, who's awesome, and
he
he's shot up. He's going to be a basketball player pretty soon. He's getting
We have basketball practice after this. So Cheryl and I are coaching his team, and it is so much fun.
Yeah, it's been a great development. Carley got to him first with the soccer stuff, and it was kind of easy, and I got to a point. So it was during COVID. When it was like soccer, they could go outside, they could do that, but they were skipping some basketball. And so he lost, a year or two in that because they were just doing some skill stuff. And he was like, I don't really want to do that. And then I went to him and I just made this appeal to him. And I said, look, you gave mommy a chance with her favorite sport that she played. You have to give mom a chance. And the ever fair, mature kid that he is, he's okay, mom, I'll give it a shot. And what I'm so happy to say is we coach his team. She coaches soccer, and then she also helps out with basketball, or she coaches basketball too, and I help out. But the difference between year one and year two, the sort of learning and kind of going, I'm not too sure about this. A lot of running, a lot of physical, a lot of mom yelling at me, and then between year one and year two, we had these moments where we played some pickup basketball at his school. And he started to have these moments of like, this is fun. Yeah. This is real. And he loves it. And his team, our season was over at least a month ago. Yeah. And they've asked us to continue to have Tuesday night practices so they could all come together and play basketball.
Yeah, they didn't want to
That's
stop.
how much they loved it. So we're excited about that.
Fun
and
group
you can't
of kids.
teach that.
You can't teach that.
You can't teach that. That's just instilled.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means, but
we get as much joy out of it as the kids get
we do.
Out of it. It's such a fun group of kids.
And then you make sure you play soccer again.
We're playing summer soccer, and I'm coaching.
Former
the team.
D1 soccer player, by the way. Well, I also want to give you kudos too. You're going to be the Grand Marshal, Twin Cities Pride. Yep.
Yeah.
You have done so much for the community. To be honored like that, that's a big feather in your cap. Good for you.
Thank you so much. Incredibly humbling, and we're so excited. And just amazing work being done for the LGBTQ plus community right now, and so many nonprofits that we partner with, and really incredibly proud, and I can't wait. I'm really excited.
And congrats to you, Philadelphia Hoops Hall, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, it's times like these when it is overwhelming at times. You know, you feel like, okay, I'm getting near the end of my career is also what it starts to kind of signals. Like I'm getting older. You know, I'm like these things are happening, but I still feel like I'm that kid that was at LaSalle University. You know, in the '80s, and so it's sort of weird. It's like an outer body experience, and you think that's for other people, and I'm just over the moon about the induction.
Well, I'm so proud of both of you. Before I let you go, people sometimes forget that you are people. So, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I'll start with you, Carley. What can you say after so many years now with Cheryl? What do you like most about Cheryl?
Oh, Lord.
I mean, her passion for what she does, attention to detail, her ability to inspire others would be a few of the things that I enjoy.
It was very sweet.
For Carley?
I think unquestionably Carley's loyalty in anything that she's doing. You know, loyal to obviously our relationship, me, but just whatever, you know, what she stands for. You know, whether it's, she's got far more ability to deal and navigate with life and some of its challenges. And at the root of all her managing situations is loyalty. And that's pretty impressive.
Thanks.
You're both very impressive. Well, thank you so much. I love the fact that women's basketball is coming to the forefront. I hate when people say it's a moment.
It's a movement.
It's a movement.
It's a rocket.
Amen.
You can't
That's
stop
right.
That's
It's
exactly
a
right.
rocket.
That's right.
So strap up and enjoy the ride on the rocket, right? Well, congrats, and I look forward to success from not only the Lynx, but the U.S. national team and beyond.
And Ollie's basketball team.
Yes, Oliver. Yeah, Ollie's basketball team. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us on.
We'll see you again next time on Unscripted.